Y ahora Messi. Impresionante. Parece que lo hace fácil. Ha protegido el balón también hasta el momento que ahora no parece. ¡Qué buena oportunidad! ¡Leo Messi!
Il règne en maître sur le terrain de la simulation de football. Sur cette génération, c'est FIFA qui s'est imposé contre un PES à la traîne. Avec FIFA 13, Electronic Arts a définitivement enfoncé le clou en proposant le plus abouti des jeux de football. Pourtant, EA Canada ne se repose pas sur ses lauriers, preuve en est la première présentation des nouveautés à venir sur la version 2014. L'évolution visuelle ne sera pas marquée puisque nous restons sur les machines de la génération actuelle, l'accent est mis sur la construction et les sensations de jeu, comme nous l'explique Nick Shannon, producteur de FIFA 14.
So we're going to see a huge leap forward in quality and innovation, especially around gameplay within FIFA 14. Key things for us are two main areas. So obviously build-up play, having the play up through the midfield, and then really reworking how shooting and finishing works within the game. So we start with the sort of build-up play. The first key here is that we're tightening up the marking within the game. So defenders will mark attackers more tightly. We're also dealing with some issues around at times defenders losing track of the attacker. So those two things have tightened up the game, and the reason for that is one, it's more authentic, but two, it kind of takes away what in the past is when you've got lots of space, you've got lots of time to sort of sprint and run at the defenders, which makes a very quick backwards and forwards game. So we wanted to sort of effectively tighten things up, we'll slow things down a little bit, but what we're finding as we play it back in the office is the fact that it's becoming so much more fun to play because you're having to think more football, you're having to think of different ways to attack, and when you get those opportunities, it's so rewarding. So it's not harder, it's just making you vary the way you play. So obviously we're tightening up the defending, so we need to balance that with helping you in attack. So some big changes around new attacking runs. So obviously we did quite a bit of that last year. We're adding more variety. Now players will run across the defensive line to stay on side, but at least they've got momentum. Strikers will now drop short and then go in behind the defense. And then a really good one, especially when marking's a little tighter, is you get the ball into feet. So you play the ball into feet to the attacker, and the attacker will start backing down, backing in, sorry, to the defender. As a user, we kind of had protect the ball in before, but there was multiple button presses. You could only get it when you were standing still. So now you hold down the left trigger, just one button press only, you can now back into a defender. But the great thing about this mechanic is you can now do it at all speed.
FIFA 14 hérite évidemment des bases acquises des années précédentes, notamment la fameuse défense tactique apparue dans FIFA 12. Elle se voit encore enrichie cette année.
At the beginning, there was a lot of opinions around it, but everyone's using it. Everyone agrees that was the right thing to do, and we knew that. And whilst it was different, 95% of people in our game are using it. So you press the button, you made the tackle, you didn't have a chance to recover. So you now have that second opportunity. We can branch out of the tackling animation, but it's a window. So it depends on the situation, depends on what's happening. A small window of opportunity to maybe get that second chance. So it won't be completely overpowering.
FIFA surpasse PES depuis des années maintenant. Malgré tout, la simu de Konami a toujours eu pour elle un feeling particulier pour les frappes de balles, plus variées, jouissives et crédibles que son adversaire. Une lacune dont les développeurs ont conscience et qu'ils comptent bien effacer.
What we're finding is lots of build-up play through the midfield, and then it becomes incredibly rewarding to find the opportunities. So once you get that opportunity, we wanted it to feel great. So we're reworking the way shooting works. In previous FIFAs, we would basically use the same animation, and whether you were rushed, whether you could step into the ball, the animation would look the same and the ball would come off differently, which was kind of confusing. So right now, what will happen is, if you have time, the players will adjust their feet and get off a great shot. We're completely reworking ball physics so it looks and feels fantastic. But the other side is, if you're rushed, you'll start to see different animations. Maybe balls stuck in the player's feet, maybe they're just getting off a rush shot. And then they'll be like, okay, I understand now why that ball didn't come off quite as strong, maybe why I missed. And they'll start to think, okay, maybe I should do something else, maybe I should pass, maybe I should just hold up the ball. So it's really fundamentally the changing how shooting works, and ultimately when you get that great shot, it's incredibly rewarding. Drag is how the force that decelerates the ball. So within our game, our drag was linear, so it was just a linear deceleration of the ball. what we found was that's really unrealistic. So what happens when you get a linear deceleration, basically the ball shoots and then it starts to slow down and you just get like a standard curve, if you like. What happens in the real world is that deceleration is different, depending on many different factors, so and ball types, things like that. So we're now sort of simulating the drag, the ball physics in a much more realistic way, and that's allowed two things. One, it's starting to see more spin on the ball, we're starting to see more movement of the ball. It's also allowing us to kick the ball harder, so we're seeing these great new effects, and again, shooting's never felt so good.